All right, what's happening? Happy March. Happy March. Can you believe it? We're into March of 2026. Thanks for everyone who is getting in right now for today's webinar. Excited for today and having good conversations with everyone who joins. I think, the last few webinars I've done, the audience has been epic and we've had a really good questions and some good conversations. So I'm looking forward to continuing that right now. As we go into March, the craziness of Q4 and the resetting of Q1 and getting into the year has pretty much got past us, right? So we're into the year now, and we're jamming, looking at projections, looking at e-commerce, how to scale. Amazon is starting to push harder on things that they want to get done, like Rufus, like Cosmo Interactions. I saw something actually pretty cool this morning, which I'm going to show you guys. But they're starting to push on their front because they're past the Q4 holiday period, right? So lots happening. Let us know where you're coming in from. I'd love to just get some comments in the chat here. It's always good to see where you're coming in from. And, we're going to keep it engaging today. I have some questions for you guys, and we're going to jump into the content in just a second. So how do we roll today? Well, we are going to talk a lot today about AI and using AI content and, what is critical when you're using it. And then I'm going to show you some examples of how to do this in the right way to send the right signals, obviously, to Amazon's algorithm, Cosmo, and what to do in the right way and what not to do, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to roll for 20 minutes. I'm going to walk through the presentation. I encourage you to add questions as we go. I might even address some questions, as I go through if they're relevant for what I'm talking about at that second. And then we'll open it up for Q&A and have a good conversation at the end. So, we keep it pretty tight and focused. My objective is to give you guys as much knowledge as possible around an area that we are super deep in. In fact, probably the deepest in anyone in the industry right now, which is around how do you optimize content for Amazon's latest algorithm, Cosmo, and the Rufus experience so that you can maximize your performance on Amazon. There's a lot happening on the space. It's super critical that you get this right. And we are really deep in the weeds. So my objective is to share the knowledge I have and help you guys and navigate, these transitions that are happening in the new AI era, which leaves us feeling, I'm sure, uncomfortable, right? Uncertain. These are things that we feel every day just with AI and the pace that it moves. But certainly with Amazon, it is a black box, in some ways. And I know that speaking to customers and to sellers, you feel uncertain of how to really maximize your opportunity on Amazon. And that's where we come in to give you guys some certainty with not only how we do things, but case studies and performance tracking and how things are going. And obviously, I'll share some of that with you today. Okay, so lots of people in here. Hey, Blue Wave, thanks, guys. I always love to see the Blue Wave guys in here. Erica, good to see you. John Sanderson, England, Seattle, North Carolina. Hey, Hunter, what's up, man? Yeah, good to see you. Or from Dallas. We have Pakistan, Costa Rica, Connecticut, Berkeley, awesome. I was thinking back to Berkeley actually the other day. I was watching, maybe this takes people back a little bit, but I was looking at some, Fred again was doing a collaboration with Daft Punk, and I always have fond memories of seeing Daft Punk for the first time years ago in the Berkeley arena. If you haven't been to the Berkeley stadium, outdoor stadium, it is epic. So anyway, that's just a flashback right there. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to share my screen. Thanks again to Evo, as always, for for helping us navigate right now. Let me share my screen, and we're going to jump into our presentation. So let's go ahead. Hold on. Share my screen. All right, I got your questions on this side. I have my screen up here. We are good to go, guys. We're going to jump in. And all right, so today you guys know the topic, but why most AI-generated listings fail in the Rufus era, right? How structured listings win in AI search. So I have a little a bone to pick with everyone here. Not everyone necessarily on this call, but conversations I've had with people lately, and they they are generating content with ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever your platform is, right? And there are some certain critical errors that you can make with that, where you think you're optimized, ChatGPT is being nice to you and telling you, hey, you're optimized, great. But there's some fundamental challenges with that, and I want to talk that through today and talk about why, and also obviously take on all the questions you guys have around the space. We do have a special offer today for 50% off. I'm also going to talk about the readiness report. If you haven't engaged with that yet, that is something critical. It's free, and I'm going to give you a link to that as well, so you can give that a try, and really just try and help you guys navigate the changes that are happening on Amazon. Okay, so if you don't know who Zonguru is, we've been around for a long time. We have over 20 different tools you can use. Our strength has always been around SEO for Amazon, which is now clearly GEO for Amazon. And we're really here. We're engineered to meet Amazon's AI moments and to help you guys navigate that as things shift incredibly fast in the Amazon world, right? I always like to start with an unpopular opinion. So the one I have today is fast AI content is easy. Trusted, structured AI content is rare, right? And anyone can, as I said, anyone can jump in and, ask ChatGPT to write a listing and optimize it for Rufus. It's going to give you some interesting insights, but there are some fundamental flaws in that, and that is very surface level, right? And so we're going to talk today about what the structured, aspects are that you need to account for when you're optimizing for the latest algorithm. And it's really important to understand that Amazon's AI will only suggest listings it technically understands and trusts, right? So if it's getting the right signals that indicate to it that this is a trustworthy product that's going to make them more money and be very relevant for customers, it is going to suggest you more often, right? And I think that is a fundamental shift we're going to talk about as well. This is not just a listing that gets surfaced in a binary type of way like it used to be with A9. It is now intelligent. It assesses things. It suggests you. It will link you to certain situations or use cases from a search perspective, and surface you, in those conversations, which would result in more sales, right? So you've got to be able to send all the right kind of signals as it evolves and thinks in a live fashion to then surface your product, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a quick second here. Hey, what's up? Buenos Aires, Argentina. Good to see you. We have had a lot of past webinars, so I encourage you, if you haven't seen the webinars, go to my LinkedIn profile, go to YouTube. The past webinars are there. We've been going deep on this for well over 2-3 quarters now, and we talk a lot about the technical aspects of Cosmo and Rufus. What has Amazon released? What have they publicized? How to structure things? What are the factors that affect Rufus? We've also gone deep in the Rufus shopping experience, gone through and understood what is that shopping experience like. If you haven't done it, I encourage you to go in and start using Rufus and the shopping experience, right? You will see you can fundamentally get more efficient, quicker answers without reading a bunch of content, get recommendations, and even add things to your cart without even going to any product level detail page, right? It is how I shop every day now on Amazon, right? I don't even type keywords anymore. I literally will open up Rufus and go straight from there. So, we go deep on a lot of that in our past webinars. What I do recommend is that, sorry about that. I'm just going to jump back in here. What I do recommend is checking out those webinars. Today, if you have questions, so like, what are your burning questions? What are you uncertain about when it comes to optimization for Cosmo, the algorithm, or for Rufus? Do you have questions around, how important is it? What are the niggling things that you want answers to? If you have questions like that, today is the day. Drop them in, drop them in today. I will answer those as best as I can as we go through this. So our goal is to help you feel more certain about things. So, if there's something there that you don't think passes the sniff test and you want some answers on that, drop them in today. Let's get going, right? All right, let's keep going here. Okay, so if you haven't experienced the Cosmo Readiness report and you want to understand how your current listing is scored for Cosmo and for Rufus, drop an ASIN into the chat here. We're more than willing to run a quick report on that. Eva will do that, and then we'll share that towards the end. So if you're brave enough and you want to see your score on Rufus right now, or how well you optimize for the semantic aspects of Cosmo and for Rufus and for the Q&A side of it, conversational search, just drop an ASIN into the chat. We'll grab one, we'll run it. And then I'll show you towards the end here how you can just do that yourself, right? You get a certain number of free ones. You can run this for any ASIN that you want to check your current score and just get a sense like, hey, am I maximizing my potential for this layer of conversational search, which is, there's keyword intent. Of course, everyone's going to always type in keywords, but there's a layer of conversational search and an exponential amount of pathways of how people can get you can connect with your product and get your product visible in front of different ways that people are searching and using Amazon, which is gone as just the intent-based keyword search. It is now research-based. It's conversational. All of these cool things that are pretty epic for shoppers, right? And how they really find products and are delighted by products they find that they haven't even thought of, right? It's your job to get in front of those customers. This will help you to understand how well you optimize, and we can go from there. Okay, thank you. I've seen a bunch of ASINs come in. Has anybody said the live feed is stopped? I'm not sure if that is a thing. Maybe Evo, you can just let me know if you see any issues there. But if anybody else has seen the live feed stop, let me know. I just want to make sure that our live feed is still going. It looks like it is. So I don't know, just double check that live feed is good. Okay, no issues. Great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's jump into this, right? So most of you know this, right? And I just want to just highlight this before we jump in. Amazon is shifting from keyword matching, right? Which is like, hey, you got a bunch of keywords in your listing, and it's going to use that to then look at different, signals around that keyword to understand how to rank you, right? And that's in the normal search results page. How well do you convert off of those keywords? What's your conversion rate like? How your reviews, how's your seller score, etc. And then it's going to help rank that, right? That was the old way. The new way is absolutely keywords are important and conversion of keywords are important, but there's a whole intelligent algorithm with this product understanding, right? Like, so, it's intelligent enough to understand, like, hey, what problems do you solve? Who is this for as a target audience? When should it be recommended? All of these different signals. Hey, in this specific use case, I'm looking at the Cosmo, I'm looking at the LLM that I have for that specific use case, and then also pulling in live, augmented retrieval data to double check, what is the most relevant. And then I'm serving, different suggestions, recommendations as I go, right? There's a whole intelligent, live, organic ability for this algorithm to serve products, right? And so are you sending the right signals around this product knowledge, right? Are you sending the right signals so that it maps you and can serve you intelligently, right? And that takes a much deeper level than just a surface level, hey, I'm optimizing my content for what we think Cosmo needs, right? There's a whole structure that goes behind that. That's what we're going to talk about today. And, that's obviously driven by Cosmo, right? So A9, as it's known, is, we could just call it defunct. It's now replaced with this intelligent algorithm called Cosmo, which, yes, there are A9 aspects of being, optimized for keywords and understanding what your top keywords are and making sure you see those in your listing are important. Certainly repetition is gone, but there's a whole other world beyond that you need to make sure you send the right signals. And what's good about that is Amazon has absolutely told us, what are some of those things that you need to be optimized for to send the right signals, right? This is one key aspect that we spend a lot of time in, which is what we call a knowledge graph, right? A way of writing your content to make sure you're answering all of the right questions and sending the right signals to Cosmo, right? So things like function, right? Usage, how is your product used, right? All those questions we had. What kind of events, the audience, the things like, when is it used, right? Used on, like time, season, events. Used in location. One that we always see missing, which is really important, is used with. So this is really important for Amazon as well, and for the knowledge graph, which is like, how does it create co-buy situations? So, if I'm using a sleep medication, right, or a sleep supplements, right? Like magnesium or whatever. What does that go with, right? What are some other things that someone who's using that might be interested in, right? What other supplements, etc. So it can start to connect and then serve and suggest as you go, right? So you'll see it as you use Rufus more and more, those suggestions come through, right? It's really important. So this mapping here is something that is critical. What's beautiful about it is you can write your great content as long as you have the mapping in place. Then you will be setting the right signals to Rufus, right? Again, so these are some of the other things. So the knowledge graph is important, right? So the listing content and the knowledge graph is important. Product catalog data. The LLMs are on Amazon are learning across all the product catalogs all the time, understanding all the critical things in each product catalog, right? What products should be connected with other ones, right? These are important. The customer reviews. So certainly it's looking at all of its own customer reviews and understanding what products are best recommended, right? Shopper behavior, how I shop today. What did I put in my cart last week? Those things are important. Personal shopping preferences, right? Those are accounted for inside of Cosmo. External publications, again, these are things that Amazon look at. So it uses a system called RAG, which will look at all the LLM data, understand like, hey, what should it serve? But then it also does retrieval augmentation, where it'll go out and actually look at publications and get some objective opinions from other publications, even from the reviews, and then decide on what to surface to you. Whether it does that objectively or not, or favors Amazon, that's obviously up to Amazon. But certainly if you're driving a lot of conversions and sales, it's going to surface you more often, right? So there's a lot more that goes into in terms of the technical factors that you need to account for, so that you give the strong product knowledge graph, right? That's really critical. So jumping ahead, I think an important point here is like, what are the kinds of questions that you ask of Rufus, right? So I could say something like, hey, what is the best review recommended magnesium sleep for my age, right? I can type that in. Like, that's not something you would put into an intent search on Amazon, right? Into the keyword box, right? But on Rufus, you're going to have those kind of things. It's so much more specific. Like, so just read that question for a second. I could put in like best magnesiums for sleep, right? I would put that in a normal search on the keyword side, right? But I can evolve that further because I'm having this conversation with an intelligent algorithm, right? So actually what I want is like, hey, what's the best review recommended? Like across all the reviews on Amazon, what is it? What do you recommend? And do it for my age, right? So, it will come back with answers on that, right? It might say, hey, well, what is your age? And then I can put that in, or it might know it from a previous search, right? So this is like an ongoing conversation that you can have with Rufus. And then it's going to use that to then map, like it's going to look at like, hey, sleep improvements, high absorption, is that important, right? Magnesium glycinate is the one that's really good for sleep, right? Positive sleep reviews, it's going to look at those, pull that all together, look across the category, the LLM, and then surface the right recommendation for you. And I guarantee if you do it right now, you'll start to see that the quality of the responses from Rufus is up there with Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT, right? It is a really high quality experience, and it's going to give you the right recommendations. And clearly, if you're not sending the right signals across these reviews, everything else, and the LLM doesn't feel, or Cosmo doesn't feel confident about recommending you, it's not going to. So you have to send the right signals, right? We're going to talk about some of those in a second. One thing I just wanted to jump over and show you was what I actually found today was, I've talked about this on other webinars, is like, imagine the day when Amazon actually starts to surface Rufus much more on the homepage of Amazon, right? So we know right now 250 million plus shoppers have used Rufus. We know Amazon is all in on that. It's projecting over $12 billion now in additional revenue. And people who use Rufus are converting at 60% more than through the traditional search process of going on Amazon with an intent-based keyword, right? So it is significant. But that's all been happening with just this little button that says Rufus in the corner, right? But look at this today when I came on to, I just opened the homepage. Look, it actually popped this whole section over here where it says, hey, welcome back. And then it's asking me certain questions on Rufus, right, that I've searched or whatever, when I've just been going. So it's already starting to take over more real estate, and they're testing it, right? So imagine as this starts to shift more and more over the page, how important and significant Rufus is going to get with just normal day-to-day shoppers that maybe haven't engaged with the grid. If I came here and I hadn't looked at Rufus before, I'd be like, oh, wow, what is this? Let me start, right? So they are starting to test taking over more real estate on the homepage. That is a big, significant shift that I literally just saw today. And obviously, you can start engaging more there. And it's important to check that out, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so keep the questions coming, guys. I see a few questions coming in. I want to see some questions going back to the statement. What are you uncertain about? What questions do you have around this? I need to have those questions in there so we can have some serious conversations. This is for you guys. And I want to see those questions come in. So please post those questions. We're going to come to them as we go. Just a reminder, I want to hear from you. Okay, so, so what is the opportunity for sellers coming back? Okay, so this is important, and we're going to start talking about how to use AI in the right way, right? And if you think about the A9 era, we were restricted by having this keyword stuffed ingredient based listing. You had to have the keywords in there. You had to have synonyms, repetition, all these keywords, because that was as intelligent as the algorithm was, right? It took those keywords and then it did some semantic matching, but that's what drove all of the signals to really get you ranked better on the search results page. What do we see today as part of the LLM, right? It's starting to understand, you can put in product positioning is important. Like, how are you unique, right? It's starting to understand, like, oh, what's the uniqueness about your brand? How should I position you and suggest you that's different to competitors? What are the right customer outcomes and how to connect with those? What's your real differentiation? What are your emotional benefits, right? So this is a really cool part of, what we create on our side, but what we're seeing getting better traction with Cosmo is like, playing to the emotional benefits of your customers, right? What are they looking for, and surfacing those, right? So the more you can put that into your content, and the great position that we're in today is that you can allow your content to breathe and talk about all these cool things about your brand and your product versus the restrictions you had with the A9, right? So the more you can put in there, the better it is, right? And importantly, people say, well, like, hey, there's so much content there. We have like the product benefits, right? The attributes that we can put in there, the benefit copy that we can write in there. We have the description copy, we have the backend search terms, we have the EBC content, we have images, right? So there's so many places to put content. Like, should we fill that content? Yes, 100% you should be filling that content, because things like certifications you have, awards that you have, these are all trust signals that you're sending to the algorithm so it can understand better, hey, you've got some outside traction, you're getting, you publicized on some of these these blogs that are out there or other publications. Make sure you reference that in your content, right? Your your A+ content can reference that, right? Make sure that you're posting about your certifications, like, all the things that are different about your product, because it can start to read all of that and then make sure that it suggests you in the right way. And certainly, what we're seeing on the PDP right today is that it actually the page actually summarizes some of your key bullet points. So you can click on the different tabs, it's going to summarize that. So yes, even the days of just reading the benefit copy and using that to convert customers when they're looking at that, it's actually getting summarized by Amazon as well, right? So make sure that you put all the relevant content that you have into there, because that's going to give all the signals to the algorithm to then surface you in the right way, right? Now, it is critical, obviously, to make sure that you have a good narrative and that you are, allowing customers to read it in a good way and convert off it. So you don't want to just stuff things or, just make long sentences or not make sense, right? You've got to make a lot of sense, because your human conversion capabilities is certainly critical, but the AI readability, suggestions to the AI side of it, and even at a stage where AI conversion helps, right? Where things are being added to the cart because it trusts your product. Those signals are really critical as well when you put together content, right? Good. I start to see some questions coming in, which is really critical. So thank you. We're going to come back to some of these questions in a second. And just as a question, how important is the brand store? It's absolutely is critical, right? So in terms of how it's signaling Rufus, we don't get a sense there that is as critical as your PDP right now. But certainly having a brand store, you're putting content on there, all the things that we should follow as a typical brand owner. Yes, you need to look at that, right? But the focus right now in terms of sending signals to Rufus absolutely comes from your product level page. You need to make sure that that is structured in the right way. And we have a lot of tracking that's going on, and we see a drop in sessions by listings that are not optimized for the latest algorithm, at least going back, 3 to 4 months, right? We're seeing a softening in sessions from listings. And then once you update your content, those sessions are coming back. Your discoverability is, think of it as a layer, right? Rufus is this whole other discovery layer. Whereas like if I'm just optimized for keyword intent-based searches, great. But all of this 250 million shoppers, all of this 12 billion in potential sales, you're not getting access to that if you're not setting the right signals, right? So that should, let the penny drop for you. Okay, this is a really cool slide that I think, is amazing for us as brand owners, as e-commerce product owners, right? Where, again, going back to what Amazon used to be, is this restriction around having to stuff your listings full of keywords. And now we have this ability to have a listing that really, can breathe and communicate our product. And we have these tools available to us called AI, and various different AI ways of creating, different team members that we want on our team that can do all of the types of jobs that we need, so that we have the best content at the end of the day. And the best way for me to explain this is just to kind of talk through this concept that I have in my head of creative designer versus creative strategist, and who do you want on your team, right? And I'm going to relate this back to, what we used to do a lot in the past, which is go on to Fiverr or Upwork and hire a creative designer, right? And say, hey, I want you to go ahead. You have some Amazon experience. Go ahead and create my listing, right? And I want to paint 2 pictures of 2 different people that you could have on your team, right? The first one is the creative designer. So you brief him and you say, hey, go ahead and put together a Amazon listing for me. And they go ahead and they send you back a listing. It's got polished graphics, rewritten bullets that they say is SEO copy optimized, and that they have, looked at, what Cosmo is, and they've optimized for it. They AI generated the copy and they finessed it a little bit further, and you read it and it looks good, but there's little insights, and they haven't given you, any of the reasons why behind it, right? They just said, hey, here's your content, right? How much uncertainty will you have around that? How much trust would you have in that, right? Versus what we have on the right-hand side, which is the creative strategist. And the creative strategist, you've hired this person off of Upwork, same thing, and they've come back and they said, hey, look, thanks, you gave me the brief. I went and did some research. I understood your brand voice. I understood your positioning. Like, what, I looked at all your reviews, right? And I analyzed the reviews, and I try to understand what customers actually care about. And I looked at your competitors, and your competitors are already talking about this. And I looked at your product, and here's what's unique about you and how you should position yourself versus your competitors. And here's your sweet spot and how you should differentiate yourself. And I've written this copy to really connect with customers on an emotional level. I've talked about your brand. And on top of that, I've really looked at this actual data from Amazon around how to map for Cosmo. Here's the white label, the white paper where they talk about that. And I've showed how I've structured that. Maybe I've used the technology. These are the reasons why it is mapped in the right way. And this is why you're going to get the best traction, not only from human conversion, because you're connecting emotionally and you position yourself, differently, but also I've mapped you for it. And here's the reasons why. Now, which one are you going to trust more, right? You have the left and you have the right, right? And clearly, if you go with the creative strategist approach, you're going to feel confident, and you're going to go ahead with that approach. And that's ultimately what Zonguru is doing for you, right? And that's why we've built the product in the way that we've built it, so that we use AI in the right way. We're not just doing surface level AI. We are going deep, and we have a multi-agentic model that has all of these expert agents doing the things that AI is good at, right? So what are the things that we do? We do things like deep research on your niche to understand, what do customers care about? What are your competitors talking about? How should you talk differently? What is unique about your product, and how do you position that? We're doing all that deep creative strategist research work, brand strategist work for you, right? We are then surfacing and saying, hey, what is the best narrative to tell on your page to help with customer conversion? And let's write that narrative in the correct way so that it really connects emotionally with customers and sells them on your product. And then obviously we take in the knowledge graph and we map that and we say, hey, it's mapped. And we give you the reasons why. We say, hey, this is how it's exactly mapped. So we're giving you all the confidence around it, but we have this multi-structured agentic approach that is constantly learning, and we're constantly testing so that we can make sure we create the right content for you so that you can put it up there and start to get the traction and get access to all of those sessions and the discoverability that we get from AI on top of the typical keyword intent-based way of doing it. So our goal is obviously to maximize your AI readability, your discoverability, and your human conversion, right? And that's the beauty of how you can use AI today at a baseline level to do that. The other piece is we have actual humans that check your content as well and review it and make sure that it's correct. And we've also built into our approach control so that, you know, how is AI the best at what it, how do you make sure that AI does its best job possible? You make sure you give it the right prompts. And so we give you, you know, check-in points along the way of the process so that you can check stuff and make sure that you can adjust prompts so that obviously the work done is much deeper, right? So those are the kind of things that we do on our side, which is critical, and it's so different to just dropping a link in and saying to ChatGPT, hey, write this listing for me, right? Really critical. Okay, so, you know, this is the AI illusion, right? And I've just talked about this, but the AI illusion is, you know, with ChatGPT, I can write a listing and I've got a readable listing. The other approach is to have AI do all the deep work, the structured engineering. We call it listing engineering, right? So it's going and doing all the things that we should do, like niche research, customer sentiment mining, structured product knowledge, differentiated narratives, Cosmos signal mapping, and then bringing that through an AI understood product that will maximize your discoverability and human conversion. So, you know, those are the two different pieces. I'm going to stop for a second. We're going to talk about the Cosmo transformation, but let me see if I have another question here that I can take and answer. Erica, we're going to come back to that question. Okay, so Saba, what is the future of PPC then? So, you know, how does PPC? So PPC is always going to be a massive part of Amazon. I think they make enough money off of that they will never get rid of it. Same as Google. You know, we've seen already, you know, related to ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT, OpenAI, has announced that they're going to start including sponsored ads in the process of the conversational search, right? They're doing it on their front. There's already been some backlash from customers. We saw that happen over the Super Bowl weekend here in the US, where Anthropic with Claude came out and actually took a dig at OpenAI and said they showed some ads and they were showing how a good organic conversation, objective conversation with AI can be strange if you all of a sudden starting to recommend products that are sponsored in there, right? And that can take away from the experience. And Anthropic has come back and said they are not putting in paid sponsored ads into their conversations, right? Now, what is Rufus going to do? Rufus it's already happening. So you can go into Rufus right now, and there are sponsored placements that they are testing in the Rufus conversation. So you can actually literally go into the platform, you know, inside of Seller Central, and you can, you know, find ways to sponsor in the Rufus conversation. So they are clearly raising their hand, Amazon, and saying, we're going to do that. Now, are they going to get the balance right? You know, from history, I would say Amazon's probably going to get it wrong up front, but hopefully they figure out how to balance it, right? Because it's the same as the organic search experience, right? If you're having organic search experience on Amazon, but as a customer, it gets clouded with non-relevant sponsored ads, it's taking away from the experience, and the conversion is going to be less, right? So they have to get that balance right, just in the typical keyword search side of it. They need to do the same on the Rufus side of it, right? They need to figure out how to, you know, place sponsored ads in a way that doesn't take away from the quality experience of the conversational experience, and maybe even enhances it, which is like, hey, you know what, like we've actually, you know, put some relevant placements in here that actually add to the experience. Whether they get that right or wrong is obviously time's going to tell, but absolutely sponsored ads are gonna appear in Rufus. They are appearing already. They're testing them, and pay to play is going to stay, right? So taking advantage of that is going to help you with the Amazon flywheel, because you're giving them more money, you're making more money, they're making more money. So you need to take that approach. Okay, so what do we do in the Cosmo transformation service? This is obviously one of the things that we have been doing for quite a while now. We have some exciting new products coming out in the space. This is a big area that we focus in right now. There are some huge announcements coming in the next little while, so keep watching the space. But our goal is to absolutely help you navigate this AI era on Amazon, and to give you all of the tools and the strategies and the tactics in the most efficient way possible to help you get content out there that is optimized for Amazon, right? Your job is to create the best products in the world. Our job is to help you communicate that on Amazon and connect with AI and make sure you have the most visibility and human conversion. And that's where we can help you. So in the Cosmo transformation service, this is what we do. We ingest what we call product truth. What is the product truth about your product? We're going to help you identify exactly what that product truth is. What's really cool is some of the feedback we get from our Cosmo transformation is like, I've been trying for years to uniquely position my product versus my competitors and identify how to really connect with customers in the right way. You guys did this literally in this Cosmo transformation. It's pretty epic. So that's the kind of feedback we get. We analyze your niche, we structure your product knowledge, we validate your positioning, and then we engineer the listing. And when we say engineer the listing, it is a creative execution and a technical mapping, right? So our engineering is to make sure we can help with human conversion as much as possible, and obviously the engineering listing. And we do that for your content side of it, and we do it for the image side of it as well, right? So you'll get a whole output on what should your image narrative be in your carousel, what should your exact order of images be, what should be in your images, what should be the copy overlays, what should be the technical copy that you should put on, alt tags you should put on the back end, what should be your A+ content, the narrative. We give you all of that in this Cosmo transformation. So it's not only your content, it's the whole image side of it. We even give you the prompts that you should add if you want to nano bananas, and you can generate your own imagery there as well. But certainly the overlay copy we give you as well. So there is a deep understanding of exactly all of the pieces on your PDP that are critical for conversion, and we surface that to you. And at the end of it, we give you a listing that is built for human persuasion and for AI discoverability, and that's our goal at the end of the day with the Cosmo transformation service. Okay, so coming back to the beginning, the future of Amazon listings is not write better copy, it's engineer better product knowledge, right? Fast AI content is everywhere, but trusted AI content wins visibility. You need to earn the trust of Cosmo, and you're going to do that by sending all the right signals to it through a product knowledge platform, a network that we've created. And you need to serve that through AI listing engineering, which is what we focus on. Okay, so performance tracking, we talked about that. What are the kind of things we look at? So this is what we see. Every single listing we've transformed, we track it. This is what we see. Increase in sessions, right? Okay, so I'm going to jump in for a second. Maybe there's going to be some questions around this. Should I A/B test my listings? You can A/B test your listings. That's going to help you to prove conversion with the traffic that's going to your listing, but it's not going to prove out discoverability with AI, right? You don't see that in A/B testing, right? You need to make sure that you're setting the right signals and getting more sessions. So sessions, niche rank, these are really important things to track over time. Watch the space. We have a lot more coming out on that, but Amazon's A/B testing is not built for showing you, are you getting more discoverability inside of Rufus? Overall sessions, obviously revenue increases. These are the critical things that are important. Niche rank are important to track over time. But certainly you can A/B test to just make sure that, hey, is my conversion rate similar or better, right? But these are the things that we see. Increase in session rates, literally, starting straight away, you'll start to see exposure to more sessions. Niche rank improvement, conversion rate improvement, because now it's written for human emotion and conversion, right? And then stable ad spend. The point is, when we track this, we understand that there are other things that affect overall visibility, and rank, right? Which is PPC spend, pricing. So, if we see those as stable, we can then infer that you're getting more discoverability across Rufus, right? So I'm sure there's going to be more questions on this, but we have a bunch of tracking on there. All right, we're going to jump into questions in just a few minutes, guys. I know there's a bunch of questions right here. I will run through just quickly, like, what does it actually look like, when you do this transformation, right? So this is just an example. If you go onto the Cosmo transformation page, you will see this example. You can download it. But the point is, we give you all your copy before and after, right? You can see things like, look at this, programmable timed feeding is what it used to be. What it is now is worry-free feeding schedule, right? This is for an automatic cat feeder. But think about like how it's written in a way that really understands your customer and is addressing the anxiety and connecting with them on an emotional level, right? These are really important things in terms of how you write your copy so that it helps with connection and conversion, right? And then obviously you have the mapping on the back end. So, you can check this out. We do all of this. We look at all of the emotional mapping, anxiety address, benefit focused, outcome driven, right? So we're giving you the reasons why to build trust with you and, make sure that we are mapping it for all the correct things. So all of that, knowledge graph mapping, we've mapped it all here. We'll show you that when you do your listings, the A9 algorithmic coverage, the exact keywords that you need to seed so that you make sure that you obviously are there for intent-based keyword searches. We cover that. That's also still important. Rufus Q&A, brand voice understanding. How do we talk about it to match your brand, which you have input in when you do the Cosmo transformation? ICP, USP. So like understand your customer and how do you write the content to really connect with your customer. And then for sure, at the end of the day, compliance, right? So that's on the content side. Quickly on the image side of it, you can read all this, but what's really cool up front is we talk about all the important things that come from reviews that your customers really are important to customers. We map that out right in the beginning on the image side of it. We then look at your image landscape. We then go into each image, the order of your images, what should be your content, what should be your copy overlays. We give you, the technical aspects at the back end, and we give you for sure the actual prompts that you can put into Nano Bananas to generate your images, right? And then we give you your EBC content as well. So there's a lot there, and we give it all of you wrapped up in a folder with your CSV download, so you can easily upload your content and then start to track performance, which obviously you get on Zonguru, and you can go from there, right? So that's very high level. The things that we have, as part of the Cosmo transformation service. We're going to, and we have obviously the scoring system as well. So let's just jump over and we're going to look really quickly at one example. So Evo, if you have that example, let's just go and look at actually a readiness report. So this is free. I'm going to just open this up. Let's see. Oh, you can see my page, right? Yeah. So this is free. You can get 5 free ones. You can literally run this. You can download the PDF and keep it for yourself. This person, which is it looks like it is a face primer, SPF 30, right? Face cream, 64 out of 100. So not bad. Anything when you start to get over 70%, you're in a pretty good spot. But this is actually not too bad. Like, you have a few tweaks. How do you fix your listing? Well, this is going to tell you exactly how, right? So on the semantic mapping, the knowledge graph side, you got 63%. On the Rufus Q&A, 66%. Not bad. Usually we see this is okay. This is usually pretty low, right? So it's actually pretty well addressed. We map it out right in the beginning and show you, hey, where you're strong and weak. So, strong target audience, you need to improve, right? Used in location, you actually, you need to address that, right? Used with. So this is the one that's usually always missing. There's some improvement you can make there for sure. And then obviously in the Rufus Q&A side of it, you have a bunch of, ones that have answered, but also ones you need to answer. How do you improve it? Well, this report will tell you exactly and actually give you recommendations. Like, actually specify the demographic segments such as mature skin seekers, makeup enthusiasts, Korean beauty fans, right? These are obviously things that are being drawn from your content, but you need to address them in a better way so that, Cosmo is intelligent enough to go, oh, these are the type of audiences that are going to use your product. Older, mature skin seekers, makeup enthusiasts, whatever they are, right? It's telling you here, pulling it from there, you need to map that, right? Used in location, map that, right? Specific application locations, bathroom, makeup stations, travel bag, contextual relevance, right? So it's going to tell you here how to actually really improve it, right? Used with, this is the one that's always missing. So this is the co-buy. If you can co-buy match it, you're going to get so much more exposure through Rufus, right? So complementary products like foundation types, setting sprays, particular skincare ingredients that pair well with this primer. We're giving you all this information so you can actually map your content better and therefore get more exposure across Rufus, right? So there's a whole bunch in here. You can go through all of this. I mean, look at the knowledge drops in this readiness report, right? So if you want access to this, we'll give you a link right now, and you can actually go ahead and try this out for yourself. So if you want to try it yourself, go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS. You'll go to a landing page. You just put in your email address. You get 5 free reports that you can download. If you are a Zonguru subscriber and you want more, you can literally email us and we can check it out for you and give you access to more. But go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS and get the information you need so you can see, are you actually well optimized or not? Let's start to change that uncertainty into certainty, and then go ahead and try our Cosmo Transformation Service, and you will go from there. So what is the Cosmo Transformation Service? This is it. You guys have raised your hand. We're giving you 50% off right off the bat if you order 3 or more listings, and we will do it all for you. So you'll go through the Cosmo Transformation process. Our tech, our multi-agent approach, our human team will take it. We give you before and after scores. We give you the reasons why. We give you all of the additional copy at the end. And instead of it being $100 per listing, which you literally will get back on ROI in a few seconds once you post it, we're giving it to you for $50 an ASIN. Go to zonguru.link/Cosmo50. So Cosmo50 on zonguru.link, and use the coupon code Cosmo50. If you use that for this audience right now, we for the next week or so, we will keep that coupon live. We have tracking on the back end. And so anybody coming in from this webinar today can get access to that. So go ahead and use that and transform at least 3 listings. You will be blown away by the insights you get from it, how the copy is written on the image side, what does it look like, and put together a plan to get those live so that you can be exposed to that 12 billion plus in revenue projected by Amazon, and those 250 million customers that are using Rufus today, including myself, and get exposure to that audience, right? So you need to make sure that you are mapping. Amazon is all in, and if you send the right signals, they're going to favor you over your competitors who are not doing the transformations yet, right? So this is critical, and you can get in and get that done right now. Okay, guys, I know I've talked a lot. Let's just look at some of the questions. I will come back to the questions right now, and let me just stop sharing my screen here. Yeah, okay, great. So let me bring this over and let's answer some questions. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I know we didn't get as technical and tactical in some of the aspects of it, but I want to really make sure I drop this idea that like you need to use AI in the right way to help your business, right? And there are ways to use AI in the right way, and there are lazy ways to use AI, and certainly the lazy ways can hurt your business overall, and it's not giving you the trust signals that you need to make sure that you're setting the right signals to Amazon and the structured ways so that you have the best listings possible. And if you do this now, gone are the days of having to like optimize your listing every month or whatever and look for keywords, right? The semantic mapping, the universe connection will happen through this algorithm, and you can make sure that it's handled and kind of move on to bigger and better things on your business, right? Okay, so thank you for sending over that readiness report. We will send you as a follow-up. If you drop your email, we'll send you over that readiness report so you have it. You don't have to waste a free credits on that. So please send it over. Let's see if we have some questions there that we can address and run through. So let's go on to Erica. Will you come up with a new way to optimize new launch listings that don't currently have an ASIN? It's a good question. So right now the system is built for you have to have an ASIN and have it live, and then we can pull that and post it. We will be coming up with a way that you can launch new listings. If you want to run the way to hack around that and use our system is you can still do a Cosmo transformation and seed it with one of your best competitors, right? So use your competitor baseline that you think is similar, and then you can seed it. The brand intake you can still write for your brand, right? There's a a form that you'll fill out where you can input and give us control over the brand. You can fill that out for yours. It's going to write the content, and then you have the product attributes and you can adjust it and you can get a final output, right? So there is a way that you can seed it with your top competitor, because you get so seeded with that, and then you will write a listing, and then you just have to make sure that you're obviously reviewing it right at the end and you make some slight adjustments. But you can leverage your best competitors to write your own baseline listing before you publish that to Amazon. So you can go ahead and do that, Erica. Hopefully that is a hack you can use. Okay, so we talked about that one. Pamela, would you recommend shifting our product copy to take a more conversational tone, like a Q&A format for the key bullets? It's a conversational tone, right? So it's longer tail sentences. It's like benefits, usage, customer pain points, addressing those pain points. But I wouldn't write it as actually just questions and answers, but you can certainly like seed it with some questions like, hey, is this a question? And here's the way that I answer it. You can be much more conversational as long as the mapping is there. You will get what you need out of this and send the right signals. So, just writing as you would with, if you're on Shopify and you have your listing and you're writing about your product and how unique it is and, the type of things you want to address, like those are definitely ways to address it, and just write the conversation for sure. Does Rufus work differently when recommending product? Recommending books versus other physical products. To be honest, we don't spend time on the book side of it. We spend time on the product side of it only. So that's where we're focused. So I won't be able to necessarily answer on the book side. But I would say it's probably the same LLM, right? Question around streaming. We stream live to LinkedIn and to YouTube. So if you need to catch us on YouTube or replay, it'll be there. Anybody who wants to replay who's in here today, you will get a copy of this for sure. So that was the next question. Yes, there will be a replay. Is Rufus really scraping data to inform customers with copy that is inside of the secondary images? Zonguru listing optimizer notes section. So hopefully I can understand the question correctly. Is it reading images? Absolutely, right? So AI, you can take any image today, drop it into ChatGPT and say, hey, what do you see in this image? It's going to tell you, right? For sure, the LLM, which is a combination between Nevo and Anthropic, Claude, which is what Amazon uses. For sure, they're reading your content, the copy overlays that are on there, and for sure, the metadata on the back end. Right now, we have alt tags that go in there. But as with any AI intelligence out there, one of the biggest land grabs around AI is how do you make sure the metadata on the back end of images is contextually telling the story about that image, right? So a way to explain that is like when you feed an image of New York City skyline to an LLM, right? It's going to see New York City skyline. But if the metadata on the back end talks about the whole context of what is that skyline, the history going back to when New York started, all of that kind of data that can then be ingested by the LLM and make it more intelligent, that is the big land grab that's been invested in with gazillions of dollars, right? Is like, how do you put that historical contextual metadata into the back of images so that the LLMs are smart enough to understand the context of it, right? I'm pretty sure that's coming in a strong way to Amazon for sure. And if you can change the metadata in that way, it's going to be really helpful. But at the end of the day, what your image is and the copy overlay that goes on it and the alt text that you tag on the back end is absolutely being read by the algorithms, right? How much, if it's 10% today, it's going to be 90% tomorrow. So, make sure you get that right, for sure. All right. Any other questions here? So, okay. Question: is it working? So right now, Cosmo Transformation is US and UK based. We are going to be expanding that to Germany, to other marketplaces, Canada, Europe. We haven't jumped into Germany. I mean, that's the biggest one that comes back right now. We just want to make sure that from a, we have the localized data that's important for Germany, which is obviously keyword seeding data, niche data, the ability to kind of analyze that marketplace. We just want to make sure that the actual language transformation is correct, and we're still testing that. So that will be coming up soon, but it is not based in Germany yet. All right, so you're going to get this straight away afterwards. So Shannon, you will get, or right after this, you'll get the full video. It's also posted live on LinkedIn, which you can watch right now, and it's also posted live onto YouTube, so you can go ahead and watch that as you need to. So Canada is coming soon. Erica, is it a waste of time to do my review insights and pulling customer usage percentages? No, I mean, anything that you would. So I think it's important to understand that you have control inputs into our Cosmo transformation process. So the brand side of it, the product attribute side of it, you can look at those, you can tweak and look at what comes back as the insights and adjust it before we give you the final product. So you can teach the agents further in the process, which is good. But at the end of the day, you're going to get your content back. You can still adjust that content. So if you feel that, hey, like I want to add an additional keyword, or I want to tweak a sentence because I don't feel it's exactly on my brand, or, I have this review insight that I've analyzed myself and I think this is really important, you can add that, right? And then you can run a readiness report to see if it matches at the end of the day. So you still have the ability to make any tweaks you want before you push it live. For those agencies and for those bigger brands that are out there, this is also, you can do it in bulk. So you can do 5, 10, 20 ASINs at a time. You can do one brand intake and you can submit 20 ASINs and get all of that content back in one shot. You can analyze it, review it, and then get every single folder back with every CSV. You can ingest that into your own AI system and then publish that live, or into a partial flat file download, whatever you need, right? So you can do this in bulk. We've built it in a way that you can do more than one listing at a time, which obviously is critical at this stage to make sure you transfer listings in the most appropriate way. Okay, so Pamela, thank you. I got your email. We'll email you over. If there are any last questions, let me know. Erica, yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate everyone being here. And some really cool things coming up very soon. Some big announcements on the ZonGuru side as we navigate this AI era in a better way. Our job is to be your advisor, your trusted advisor, your navigator, and your final creative and engineering solution for Amazon, and ensuring that you get the best visibility on Amazon. And obviously, what's really cool about it is, the way you structure your listings on Amazon as this world unfolds for us, and there's visibility happening across all the other LLMs. You are structured in the right way to send the right signals to those LLMs as well, and getting visibility, right? So it's going to help you even beyond Amazon as the space unfolds, right? So pretty cool, to kind of help navigate this with you guys. We will have an agency partner webinar coming up next week, where we bring on agency partners. We reveal the secrets behind the expert curtains of our agency partners. Those are all very cool to watch. You're going to get a lot of really good information from that, from everything from PPC to content to strategies. That is all happening next week. And then we will have another webinar where I'll come on and we will evolve this conversation. So, feel free to let us know, at support, like, hey, what are the kind of topics you want us to talk about specific around this AI era? We will dive into those. I'll show you some more use cases. We can dive in and actually show you a Cosmo transformation, whatever you need to make sure that you feel good about the next steps that are happening in the space. We want to make sure we give you that information. So let us know. But try the Cosmo transformation. Get in, do 3 ASINs. You've got the discount. This is the time to do it. You need that content, and I guarantee if you put it up right now, you're ahead of your competition. You're sending the signals beyond just obviously keyword intent to AI discoverability and accessing those 250 million customers that are converting at a 60% higher conversion rate than the typical funnel that goes on. If that doesn't help you get on board, then I don't know what does, because you need more conversions and more sales. And the more you do that, the more Amazon's going to recommend you over your competitors. So get in and get it done. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you next time. Cheers.